Hi everyone, my name is Maya Hinavska and I am currently studying Masters in Early Childhood Education, which means my literature review will be based on this. I've chosen the title The Impact of Parenting Styles on Child Development, a review of empirical evidence. So I hope you enjoy. So, this is my introduction before we dive deep into the presentation. So, very briefly, the questions we should be asking are what are parenting styles? Why do they matter in child development? And the overview of the key points covered in the presentation. So, research says that parenting styles absolutely affect a child's development. So, it can affect everything has consequences. You have positive and negative consequences. So, we will be diving deep also into this. We will explore the four main styles, what research says about each, and why it matters for families and society. So, the four types of parenting styles I found in the research that I was reading through the papers are authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, and also neglectful. Of course, I believe there are more than just four, but these are what we will be focusing on. So, think of authoritative parents as warm but firm. They are responsive and also they set clear expectations, which research consistently shows leads to kids who are confident and socially competent. Authoritarian, authoritarian parents, on the other hand, are strict and not very emotionally responsive. And kids raised this way may follow rules but often deal with anxiety or low self esteem. And then we also have the permissive parentings who are warm, but they don't enforce rules that much, which can lead to impulsive behavior. And lastly, we have neglectful parents who provide little support or structure, and these parenting styles often result in poor emotional and academic outcomes. So now I will be talking about one by one about the parenting styles in the research. Firstly, I will talk about authoritative parenting. So this parenting style really shines in the research. Baumrein's 1991 study found that children raised this way were more socially competent and self-reliant. And Lambon backed this up, showing these kids also do better in school and have better mental health. It's a style that balances structure and warmth, which seems to be the sweet spot for development. And I personally believe that my mother-in-law is was practicing authoritative parenting because all her five kids are confident and they're striving every week. They always have something to do and they all have good careers. So I guess personally I met someone who did this kind of parenting style and it works. Secondly, we can look at authoritarian parenting. While it's structured, the lack of warmth can be problematic. Dornbush found this style was linked to poor social skills and even depression. Steinberg's 1992 research added that although these kids may perform academically, it often comes at a cost to their emotional well being. They may comply, but out of fear rather than confidence. Lastly, we have permissive and neglectful parenting. First, I will talk about permissive. So, permissive parents are the cool parents, very loving but not big on rules. So, maybe these are the parents who are focusing on gentle parenting, but they don't know where to draw the line for discipline. So, these parents can be classified as permissive parenting. So Lamben's study showed these kids often lack academic motivation. Then there's neglectful parenting, also where there's neither structure nor support. Maccabee and Martin found that this often leads to emotional detachment and risky behavior. So, of all these styles, neglectful tends to have the worst outcomes overall. Even from the word itself, neglectful, as an individual, if you neglect your stuff when it's still turned on, right? The fire will burn the kitchen and you will lose your house if you neglect what is going on in the kitchen. And if you neglect like kids just running around on the side of the road, eventually they're gonna get hit. So neglect is, of course, going to have the worst outcomes. According to what I've read in all the five research papers, I found some effects on parenting styles on the development. So there are emotional and social development, cognitive and academic performance, and also mental health outcomes. When we look across these styles, we see consistent patterns. Emotionally, the kids raised by authoritative parents are more confident and resilient. Socially, they tend to have better relationships as well. Academically, a healthy balance of guidance boosts performance. But when parenting is too strict or too lax, creativity, emotional stability, and academic drive all take a hit. We can see all this in this slide. Here I've created a table of results from each of the four parenting styles that I've mentioned, and I believe this table sums it up nicely. So, just for clarity, responsiveness refers to how emotionally supportive and communicative the parent is, while demandingness is about how much structure and discipline they provide. So, in emotional impact, of course, we know academic outcome and also social skills. So, authoritative parents are high in both. They are warm and have clear rules. Authoritarian parents, in contrast, are demanding but not emotionally responsive. And then we have the permissive parents, where they are responsive but don't set many boundaries. And neglectful parents score low on both. And as you can see, kids with authoritative parents generally have the best social, academic, and also emotional outcomes. But if you go through my literature review, you will see that before I conclude, I also mentioned about the importance of the maternal relationship and its and the babies, and how maternal mental health also affects the babies. I believe this is also a very important research topic. That's why I didn't actually mention it in this presentation, because I am focusing solely on the parenting styles. But of course, one day I would like to also do a research on this. So for this slide, what can we take away from all this? For parents, it's a reminder that being present, supportive, and consistent matters. It gets tiring, I have to admit, but everything is tiring. Work is tiring, going about your monthly, weekly, daily schedule is tiring. Everything is tiring in this world. I guess you just have to choose your battles. And then for educators and policymakers, they can support this through programs that teach effective parenting skills. And for researchers, well, there's still more to learn, as I've mentioned in the beginning of this for this slide, especially about how culture shapes these styles. This is another interesting thing to dive into, because if you look into Southeast Asian culture, there's a different parenting style than if you look at the European style of parenting. It's way different. And then if you dive into the US, the Americans, how they teach their kids, is also very different. So all this you can see on social media, TikTok, YouTube. I see this every day. And I get like sometimes starstruck because I never see this kind of parenting styles like in America. That's how I learned the gentle parenting stuff where you don't say no to your kids, etc., etc. And these people are really practicing it. So yeah, for researchers, there's still more to learn. Ta-da! This is my conclusion. So to wrap up, parenting really does matter. The style parents choose influences how their children grow emotionally, socially, and academically. Authoritative parenting offers the best foundation, but what's most important is that parents stay involved and adapt to their children's needs. Sometimes our kids might not be so attached to us in the early years, and then suddenly, when they turn into teenagers, they want all our attention, and sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes even in adulthood, suddenly you are very clingy to your parents. So I guess parenting and parenthood never ends. Like until you're old, you're still a parent. And responsiveness and demandingness are key concepts here. Authoritative parents combine both, and this leads to confident, responsible kids. The more we understand about parenting, the better equipped we are to raise healthier, happier individuals. Thank you so much. And these are my references for this presentation, and the rest of the references can be found in my literature review. Thank you. Bye.